I had this experience just 2 days ago on Horseshoe Beach where I bumped into the guy that was raking the beach for parks. And he was talking about how he grew up in Warwick and on the beaches and just the experience of that in his childhood for climbing over the rocks, catching crabs. And I'm listening to him going, that was exactly my experience. And for me, those experiences that continue because I do things, I go out foraging for whatever is edible, and it's all of that is like the natural beauty, which you could kind of look at as a cliche, but it's the truth. It's like the natural beauty of Bermuda is all inspiring for me. The architecture, the things that have come before me, it's all of it.
I mean, I jump around a lot from surrealism to the traditional Bermuda scenes, which is how I pay my bills. So I do the more traditional work. But even when I stray from that, going to abstracts, going not so much the sculpture, but anything to do with painting, flora, fauna, architecture, the maritime history of Bermuda, the fish, different types of traditions. And especially after doing the mural, I've become very interested in the history of Bermuda. What I like to do is take the history of Bermuda, and I like to tweak it and give it a somewhat bizarre kind of surreal edge. So people not only learn about the history, but they also are taken out of their kind of day-to-day reality.
My work is completely informed by Bermuda culture. And a lot of it is about interrogating Bermuda culture and almost providing counterculture statements.
In terms of Bermudian identity, when I do spoken word, I try not to censure or muzzle my accent too much, or change it or erase it from what I'm saying. And I also don't perform it. Like, I know that I don't have a thick Bermudian accent, right? I know that. It's been grammar schooled out of me, right? So, but when I'm performing, I'm not gonna sound Jamaican, and I'm not gonna put on any affected type of language, not even a thick Bermudian accent. But I'm gonna do Bermudian in my way, and I think that's important, and that's what I do.
I record as much as I can regarding folk medicine and the old applications. Some of the oral histories I've collected date back 200 years or more. And so you can actually see how Bermudian folk remedies have evolved. The fact that we have a multicultural population in terms of we have people from the Caribbean, the Azorean Portuguese, we have people of Native American heritage, as well as people of European heritage. They all brought those traditions with them when they came to Bermuda.
I'm a Black Bermudian or Afro-Bermudian, so that's the discourse that I want to have. I want to talk about the things that work within the confines of my community, whether they're issues or whether they're things that I want to celebrate, whether they're individuals I want to celebrate. I think in the wider discourse of the African diaspora, Bermuda tends to be left out of the grand conversation, even though where we are is pretty integral to the colonial experiment.
It is probably the basis at which I get my storyline. That's where I get my interest from, whether it's comedic or whether it's something that needs to be highlighted in our community.
So a lot of what I do as a photographer is I collect portraits. So I'll often on cultural or identity lines kind of group people, whether that be their name or their occupation, or for maybe they've done an amazing thing, and so I have a group of people that have all done the same thing and we want to celebrate them. I very much am inspired by everyday people. I think the sort of unknown everyday heroes are much more exciting than, say, the celebrated celebrities or so I mean, it's an integral part of what I do. From an anthropological perspective, slightly from a historical perspective, but I'm very aware of the fact that I'm not an anthropologist, I'm not a historian, I'm an artist. So everything has gone through the lens of me. So it's my interpretation of that person's culture or identity and what they've communicated to me about it. So, but yeah, it's paramount in my work.